Right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army, match week number 22. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to start with the Premier League, where we'll talk the Manchester Daerby postmortem. Frankly, you got to go. And sad, slow dismemberment of Crystal Palace. Halftime will be a U.S. men's national team-related weekly What If. Around the world, we got some AFCON insanity, and I do mean insanity. And stoppage time with Ivan Toney's best terrible bets and everyone's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now, time to welcome in this week's panel of beauties. First up, we got Mr. Mitchell Goulet, a.k.a. Overtime Mitch. It's your question, Mr. Mitchell, is if you were to write a book, it can be about anything. It can be fiction. It can be nonfiction. It can be anything you want. If you were to write a book tomorrow, what would it be about?
Like a coming of age soccer story about like a high school player in Jersey kind of finds himself.
Sounds stupid.
I wouldn't read it, but I know other people would. No. I think it would be something about social media. I've been on social media in some capacity since I was like maybe 11 and have seen many different iterations of the internet and have participated in many different iterations of the internet. And I've kind of watched it shape my brain along with my peers' brains and the generations below me. And I don't know what the topic would be, but it would be something along the lines of like sport, social, and brain chemistry.
Okay, smart. The best thing you could do is write about what you know, and that's pretty good. Okay, Mikey, same question for you, Mikey Fowler. If you were to write a book about anything at all tomorrow, what would it be?
Takedown. It would be something about every former employer or person who's done me wrong. something irrevocable and reprehensible. It would be a page turner, and it would make headlines.
Perfect answer. That's great. That's great, and it's perfect for you. I love that for you.
I didn't sign an
kind of want to
NDA.
read it. I kind of want to read it.
I'd like to do you wrong just to be included in the book. That'd be really fun.
What's to make you think all of you aren't in it?
Can I give the forward?
Tyler, your forward into the Tyler Terrence chapter 1 might read funny. Maybe we'll have you do something near the back.
I love it.
Stand by everything that I did in this book.
Just leave that as the forward. I love that. I love this. Great answer, Mikey. Tyler, since we know what you would write a book about, the great tween romance soccer novel, as Mitch already sort of laid out for us, what would it take, or what's going to be the metric for you to decide if you're going to write a sequel? Is it going to be commercial success? Is it going to be accolades? Is it going to be sort of respect of your peers? What's going to tell you, yep, I got to write another one? Tommy Brewster too.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be commercial success. It's been speaking to me recently. I am absolutely cooking with gasoline on this thing. Like the February 1st date for me to have the first draft done is very, very real. The way that I'm writing and the way that I'm structuring it right now, as the words are literally flowing out of my mouth, and not out of the other orifice, is just like it's getting to the point where I desperately want to write a sequel already, and I want to write a third. Like I want this to be like a whole series, but I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, and I do think it's going to be based upon commercial success and how much time I have. Because when I look back on, I started this in 2020. Like this has been a project. I put it down for like a year and a half or 2 years at a time, but this has been a lot of time. So yeah, commercial success, copies sold. I was already doing the math the other day on my calculator on my phone, how much money I would make if I sold each one for $15 a copy, and was just plugging in the numbers and just seeing what that would pop out.
Did you work some math? Like what if I knock it down to $5.99 and sell it for this? What if I $25 for the hardcover? Did you do all the math on this?
I'll tell you this, anybody who subscribes to the Patreon in the first month that it's available is going to get it for cheap as chips, as some might say.
There we go. Signed copies, perhaps, even. I love this.
Yeah.
I love everything. Love everything about this, which is a great segue to the promo. Everybody, if you're not on the Sam's Army Patreon, get in there now. I think the chat is probably cooking right now. Let me open it up real quick. But you get access to the Discord. You get access to the chat, live chat during streams of the episodes, bonus episodes. We got to bring those back. Tommy's brain, if he's still around. Is Tommy live? We're not really actually sure at this point. But yes, get in the Sam's Army Patreon for $3.99 a month and get access to all that. And by the way, the Discord, I know we say it a lot, but the Discord's awesome. Get in it just for the Discord. All right. Premier League. So, not going to ask you the normal question about where you want to start here because we have to start with the Manchester Derby. So, I'm going to throw it to you first, Mikey. The final score here was allegedly 2-0. I'm actually calling it 3-0 because that goal that they wiped away was bullshit. This was a 3-0 win for Manchester United over Manchester City. United looked pretty damn good. Let's be honest. Michael Carrick's game plan seemed to come off perfectly. He decided to leave Šeško on the bench. They played counterattacking, style. It worked really well. Now, on the other hand, City looked like shit. Not for the first time. And in fact, not only the first time this week, as we just watched them lose to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League. So, Mikey, where do you want to start here with Manchester Derby?
It must be so frustrating as a United fan to watch the passages of play and just how wonderfully they looked on the ball, composed. Must be so frustrating to see what this team's capable of if you're a fan of that club. So I want to start there. They looked brilliant. I sat here with you a week ago, predicted a City crooked number. I expected an absolute tossing. And what we got instead was really honestly representative of what City look like right now, these last 3 weeks. Since Pep put that blanket over his future, I thought it would have the opposite effect where the guys would kick on and start to dominate, but it's almost it has them lacking identity. It has them lacking a little bit of confidence in the usual steadiness that comes with the City side. But yeah, United look brilliant. They clearly have talented individuals. They clearly, Lisandro Martinez looked every bit the player that Arsenal wanted a few years back at the left side of center half. They really, truly are a talented group. And yeah, it just must be so frustrating watching them play like this and knowing that you can't get these performances week in, week out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the plays like Mbeumo had the incredible turn, and then he actually, gave it to Bruno. It was just a beautiful counterattack. He finished it. Dorgu looked phenomenal the whole game. I've seen him play a lot, and I've kind of been impressed by him. But man, that game really, I was like, wow, this kid is good. It's just United was really impressive. You already basically said it. City's been terrible. It actually showed right there, that game alone against Manchester United, why they needed to pay Mark Gahey $500 million a month or whatever they're throwing at him to buy him because their center backs look trash. Tyler, any thoughts on the Derby?
Well, I'll tell you what, that recount from Mikey felt like an old school compliment corner, found a way to give them their flowers, but at the same time, just smack them with the back of his hand across the face. So kudos to Mikey for that. And by the way, can we bring back compliment corner? I feel like we haven't done that in a minute.
All right. All right.
Yeah, I thought that there were passages, and hold my beer for a second. I haven't seen a team in the Premier League, maybe in Europe, knock the ball around like that this season. Like there were moments where I legitimately thought that they looked like the best team in Europe. I can't help but just think that this City group is so wildly inconsistent, and not to the extent of Liverpool, obviously, just because of where they sit in the table, but the new pieces, the coming and going of players, the sort of interesting spot that the club is in right now. I just feel like you don't know who's going to show up. I, as a Liverpool supporter, I feel that way about my club right now. But yeah, I was wildly impressed with United, and this is not the first time that they've gotten a result out of City when they're in the middle of their worst stretch and in the middle of some tumultuous times. Not worst stretch, but moving pieces in the managerial seat as well as the front office. But yeah, that was. I didn't see really any of the games this weekend because I was with my in-laws, but I saw the extended highlights, and there were it was good.
It was, yeah. It was cool to see. I know United fans have been, pining for that kind of performance. Tottenham fans as well. Now, on the City side, a couple things stood out. So I like the Semenyo buy. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he adds a new element to them. He just looked a little sort of disjointed with the rest of the team. You kind of expect that, even though he scored several goals for them already. It just give him some time to work himself in. Pep pulling Haaland in like the 80th minute or so when they were down 2 goals was crazy. I could not believe that he did that. It felt like kind of waving the white flag in a sense. I don't know. I hated that move. It sort of maybe you could make sort of narratives off that. Is Pep lost his fastball? Has he kind of, I don't know, does he just not really believe in this team the way he has in seasons past? Perhaps. I don't know. It just felt like kind of loser shit to pull off your best striker and one of the world's best strikers when you needed goals. Other thing, the small margins in this league were on perfect display here because if you remember in the first half, Diogo Dalot went in for a tackle and it was kind of high. It was his studs were up. I saw a red card given in the Tottenham Dortmund game for something very similar in Champions League today. That was not given as a red card. If that had been given, the whole narrative, all of the storylines, the result of the game, everything would be different right now. Everything. And yet, here we are. So I just want to point that out. I think the one question mark that I have is whether this type of performance from United will work when they're not playing against a team like City that dominates the ball and you can counterattack like that against that. We'll see on that. I don't know. Mitch, I haven't thrown it to you. Any thoughts on the derby here?
I'll kind of partner City's poor performance there with their poor performance today. They're in a weird spot. Normally by this time in the season, Pep cities start hitting stride and finding their form in multiple competitions, and it's been the exact opposite. They're losing form in multiple competitions. That individual sub when he pulled Haaland at like 60, to me that felt like not a waving of the white flag, but I need to do something drastically different against the team that they had probably expected to go in and be the better team against. I didn't wake up till the second half, but I just think that Pep City is in a really weird spot in their team's history right now. They're pretty sorely missing their playmaker and Kevin De Bruyne, and nobody else has really stepped into that role. The money they've spent even in this window alone, forget the summer, but like with Semenyo and Guehi in this window alone, great players, but they haven't clicked yet. Guehi hasn't played, but I don't know. I don't think this is like onward and upward for United. I think this is a really good first step in the right direction, but we'll find out this weekend, if that's just a new manager bump or if they are really headed in the right direction. And I'm a little worried to play them coming off of such a result. Like that's going to galvanize an entire locker room, and folks are going to be playing the right way, and they can now say, okay, well, we just played against a top team, beat them 2-0, playing the football that we want to play, which is, beautiful interchange and counterattacking. Why can't we go do that against the league leaders? That's an attitude that you can and should have in a Manchester United locker room. So little nervous for this upcoming weekend. Still think we're the better team, but overall, pretty unexpected Manchester Derby.
Good tease for the one of the games of the weekend coming up on Sunday when Arsenal host Manchester United. So interesting timing of that. Okay, well, also at the top of the table, we had some missed opportunities. Seemed to be a bit of a trend here for a certain team, maybe Arsenal related. So they drew 0-0 with Forest, while Aston Villa, the other team arguably in the title race, lost at home to Everton. And I don't mean the inflection of my voice is not like some sort of shot at Everton. Don't worry, Mr. Furtado. Everton is a solid team, but this is a game that Aston Villa has to win if you're going to actually have a shot at a title. So, Mikey, any thoughts on sort of the Arsenal game, another missed opportunity, or what this says?
If you haven't watched the Thierry Henry clip from midweek, I urge everyone to go do so. It was a remarkably sensible outlook on what's going on here. Listen, the Liverpool City days of a draw being like the end of the world are not happening right now. And the Invincibles drew 12 times, a 7-point gap. I understand it was Forrest. Forrest looked good on the side. Elliot Anderson was the best player on the pitch. The guys aren't in form, and we're not losing games. And we're gaining ground no matter how we do it. The Liverpool one looks a little bit better in hindsight when you look back. In the moment, I remember being very frustrated, but now you think about a draw against Liverpool, it's like not the end of the world for anybody. And listen, I'm not worried about the attack. When you watch the midweek and you watch what they're doing in the Champions League, you know that the talent's there. You know the players can find it when they need to. So not super concerned. What a welcome surprise Everton Villa was. I really enjoyed not only that match, but watching Emi Martinez just scuff up another one. That's becoming my favorite part of the sport at this point. No, I'm not overly concerned, and the last thing I want to say before I turn it over to anybody else is that like James Garner deserves more recognition, and people should be discussing more the season he's had at Everton. What a player. And I truthfully think if they make a push for Europe, or if they make a, God forbid, a Champions League run, that player is not going to be there very long. He's really, really good. So that's my thoughts.
I haven't seen it. I feel like I hadn't seen him play too much this season, but I saw the game against Aston Villa, and you're right. He was perhaps I don't know if he was given the man of the match, but he certainly was one of, if not the most influential player out there. Tyler, any thoughts on what Mikey just said?
Retweet.
All right. Don't get that often. Spurs. Yeah, we suck. We're terrible. We're garbage. I knew that we were going to beat Dortmund in the midweek. I didn't know that Thomas Frank was still going to be the coach. I did think that perhaps they were going to pull the trigger. But yeah, losing to West Ham at home is I can't even wrap my head around it. I'm not going to be the one that's out here like banging the drum and wearing t-shirts saying like Frank out and everything, but I do think that the board, they got to move in a new direction. I'm out.
Yes.
I'm out on Frank. I'm not going to, like I said, I don't like calling for people's jobs, but like, what are we? We're in 14th place. You know, we just lost.
I don't like calling for people's jobs, but this guy.
Wow. Look at this.
You can't lose to West Ham at home, this West Ham team at home, in the situation where we're in, and we've won, 7 games. 7 games from 22 in the regular season. It's just terrible. It's god awful. There's too much talent on the roster. I know that injuries are a legitimate sort of excuse or reason, but like this has gone on too long, and you can't lose to West Ham.
Does being fourth in the Champions League phase mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't actually. But what it means is that I know that Tottenham's board is not going to fire him when we're in this position. So it's kind of like we can yell all we want on Twitter.
Says who? You guys won your first trophy since the Bush administration, and you fired your coach. Like I don't,
after winning the trophy. That was after winning the
trophy. That's what I'm saying. So like you guys and Ruben Amorim deserve each other. Like I feel like when Ruben was like in that phase a couple weeks ago when he was like, well, I can't change. We were training formations, but I couldn't change the formations because then it would look like I was changing formations because the media was telling me to do so. And I feel like your board right now is probably not firing Thomas Frank because the media was saying that he probably was going to get sacked if they had lost to West Ham at home. And they're just like, oh, well, we can't just fire him just because the media is telling us to. And just because like you guys and Ruben Amorim truly like that would, what a relationship that would be. And, between the indecision and the anxiety and the feeling too strongly about what other people think and what the media think, like it's ineptitude of the highest order where you are letting external opinions influence decision making within your camp. It's truly astonishing. It really is.
That's a broad brush you're using on the you. Like I feel like, are you talking specifically about the board in their ineptitude?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I agree with you there.
What percentage would you put you want him out now then?
Right.
Since
so
50
I saw
is the number.
Adam in the chat. Is this 100% out? No, because in my mind, once you hit 50% or more, then you're leaning towards out and you're on the out camp. So I'm now more like 80 to 85%.
I don't think you understand how this works.
I definitely do not understand how you comprehend it, but I understand how I grasp it. And once you hit that 50% mark, then you're out. Yeah.
Sam, careful, otherwise you're gonna be the headline of chapter number 6 in Mikey's book. Okay, that's the territory that you're entering. Right?
If I'm only in one
moving
chapter,
them back.
I will. If I'm only in one chapter, I'd be shocked. Yeah. So it's a perfect. It's just hilarious that Tottenham, we lose to a team like West Ham, and then we beat Dortmund in the Champions League. And by the way, that was obviously red card aided. And Dortmund is just kind of trash at the moment. I thought it was Dr. Tottenham versus Dr. Dortmund, and Dr. Dortmund was the one with the stronger medicine. And so thank you to Dortmund. Unfortunately, I think what Dortmund ended up doing is saving Thomas Frank's job, which is unfortunate. I think very unfortunate.
What a crazy turn of events from you.
Listen, you guys were getting on me about not being Frank out. Now that I say, you know what, you're right. I mean, first of all, I'm not saying you're right, because you need to wait until the results happen and give him time. And if he doesn't turn it around, here's the thing about me and my sort of Frank outness right now. I'm going to continue to root for him and for Tottenham. I hope that he turns it around, and it would be completely miraculous at this point. But I think it's doable that if you give him some more time, he could turn this around. But on the other hand, I think the board would be completely well within their rights, given the results we've seen, to be like, nah, I don't think so. We got to pull the plug right now. That's where I'm at. I don't know if that's 100% or 50%, 80%. In my mind, that's 80% out. 80 to 82%, let's say. Frank out. Other results, Chelsea 2-0 over Brentford. The only thing weird about that was how just sort of disconcertingly boring and straightforward that win was from Chelsea. No red cards, no huge drama, nothing. They just won 2-0. Well done, I guess. Leeds beat Fulham 1-0. Sunderland over Palace. Liverpool 1-1 Burnley. Any thoughts there, Tyler?
There is nothing worse than not being able to watch your team play, but then also while you're with your in-laws having to check your Pop Mob app every 5 minutes to watch your club for a third straight fucking time this season not get a result at home against a promoted side. There's nothing worse than that. Nothing. Not watching the game and following that along and watching and seeing the score not move. It was Jesus.
I know the feeling. I bet overs all the time, especially on games like in the third division.
Nobody cares about your overtrain.
Afghanistan, and I'll be sitting there looking at my phone, being like, "Where's the alert? Give me a goal alert." I know the feeling. I know the feeling you're talking about.
Your broken down New Jersey Transit overtrain to my club and the aspirations that we have every single year. It's not the same fucking thing. Okay, it's not.
Are those dreams and aspirations dead at this point? Or are you still?
We can still win Champions League.
Okay, all right.
So could you.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
it's mathematically possible.
So can Spurs.
That's true. Fourth place, I think. Last time I saw, we're
on goal
differential.
Right? Yeah,
no big deal. Sunderland over Palace. Just Palace. Sunderland doing what they do. Unfortunately, the loss of the game was by far not the biggest sort of unfortunate event of the week for Crystal Palace.
Glasner's trying to get fired and get his payout while he waits for his next job.
Gahey's out the door. Allegedly, Juventus is preparing a bid for Mateta. Glasner just said, "Yep, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge as soon as
They had discussed it back in October, but dropping that bomb in the same news cycle that Gahey is out is a little petulant, to say the least.
It was the same news conference. It was a news conference to discuss it. It was just bonkers.
I kind of really like Glasner now, by the way.
You didn't like him before?
I wasn't really fully understanding, I think, just how petulant he could be, which I'm a huge fan of. So if you don't want to be there, don't be there and bitch and moan. It's great.
Can I just say,
get your golden parachute? Yeah, fair enough.
Oliver Glasner sounds like the next manager of Manchester United. His name, I think, is a very Manchester United-y name, like Sir Alex Ferguson. Oliver Glasner, I think.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. I see that.
From a syllable cadence standpoint, I am so on board with Oliver Glasner being the next manager of Manchester United.
I mean, I think he's also a very good manager.
Well, yeah.
No,
You
but
know.
we're talking
Coach-
about like how it sounds. This has nothing to
Right.
do with tactics or what happens on a field. This is purely like what it looks like written out and how it sounds coming out of a commentator's mouth. I agree. Oliver Glasner, Manchester United manager, just flows very
It's
nicely.
like it's like Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be honest. There were a few years where I wasn't sure Arsene Wenger and Arsenal were like different things when I was like, a wee
Everybody
lad.
growing up thought that the club was named after him. Until you had to come to the realization that it wasn't, and you're like, still didn't really believe it. Yeah,
it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Other results: Wolves, Newcastle 0-0. The only thing I took away from that game is Wolves are not nearly as bad as they were. They seem to have actually turned a corner. I know we were talking about them as being like biblically, historically bad. They're not that club anymore. They seem like they might blow Derby County's record out of the water. In fact, they're already on 8 points now. That's insane. And then Brighton Bournemouth, kind of a boring game. It was an incredible stoppage time equalizer by Brighton.
I'm ready to call that kid a bicycle kick merchant.
Is that what he does?
Yeah,
I didn't know
he had, when he played for Olympiacos, he had one. He didn't score it, so it's kind of unfair to say he had one, but he had an effort that was just an outrageous bicycle kick going away from goal, and it like hit the roof of the net. But then he had one in his youth days as well at Olympiacos, and the man just knows how to hit a bicycle kick. And this is my official prediction that he's going to hit an even better one in the near future. Maybe not this season, but next season for sure.
Who else is a bicycle kick merchant in the world?
El Kabi.
Victor
Yes, yeah, very much so. You could argue Giroud was like a golazo merchant.
Yeah.
Like every goal he scored was fantastic.
That scorpion kick goal was one of the best goals I've ever seen. Unfortunately, two of the best goals I've ever seen came from Arsenal strikers.
Wow, Mayan from the top mother effing rope in the chat. The difference is that Sam wasn't growing up while thinking about Wenger. He was in his 40s.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's rude. That is rude, sir.
Mashugana, Mayan. Mashugana.
All right, moving on to FPL real quick. Give out some flowers. Of course, Mikey gets his for being.
I've been bad. I think
I won the match day, believe it or not.
Yeah, I've been off.
You came close. You actually lost to Mikey. Mikey got 41. I think he got some bonus points on you. You got 40.
Oh, he did get bonus? Last time I checked, I thought I won it.
You were close. You were a lot better than I only scored 26 points last week. Holy shit, I suck. So Mikey's up top in the Council of Elders, then Tommy, Mitch, me, and Tyler. Now in the Discord FPL League, Mikey, of course, still up top, although only up by about 19 points. Oh, no.
20 who?
Sorry. My math is terrible. Yeah, seriously, my brain hurts right now. Silver Wolf FC, Matthew Perry. Our resident Newcastle fan.
I don't want to hate you, Matthew.
Dalton's in third. Dave Mokudu Smoke Problems in fourth, and Easy Breezy is in fifth. And then if you zoom out to the podcast wide league, where we actually have some insanely big brains, Luke McCulloch still in first. Ryan Nowland, Mo Salamo Problems 9.0 is in second. Sheik's Servants, Thomas Senef, Mikey's favorite person, is in third now. Champions of the World, Aaron Rolfing is in fourth. And then Mikey, you, sir, are in fifth. Still not bad. Now, quickly preview of the weekend to come. Mitch already teased it. Arsenal hosting Manchester United on Sunday. Sunday is kind of a big day. There's 3 games I would call out. Arsenal hosting United, Newcastle hosting Villa, and the artist formerly known as Crystal Palace hosting Chelsea. All those are on Sunday, I believe. Mitch, Mikey, any thoughts on Arsenal United?
United's going to do very similar. I mean, it's a great time to implement a sit back and counter style. They almost took points off us in the first match week of the year. They probably should have. So I'm a little bit concerned. It's going to take a really, really great effort to come away with all 3. So I could see both teams to score being a pretty great bet in this one, just based on what I watched today.
Okay. And then we also got Newcastle, Villa, Palace, Chelsea. I don't know what other games we got coming up this weekend. Any games stand out to you, Tyler? I don't know who Liverpool has this weekend. You guys are away at Bournemouth.
We're going to lose that game. Yeah, and I think
West.
you guys will drop points on the road at Burnley. Don't be laughing too hard over there, Skippy.
It's fair.
Everton hosting Leeds. Actually, that should be an interesting one. All right, we'll move on to.
Can I point something out to Tweedles really quickly that I've noticed over the past month or so about your team? You guys give up a lot of chances in the first half, or even like hints of chances. Like I feel like you're just very porous in the first 45 minutes, and it takes like a half for you guys to settle in defensively. Like
chances are different than hints of chances, though. Like
not just hints, but I'm saying like Inter should have had another goal.
I was gonna say Inter certainly had a lot of chances in the first half.
I feel like that happens every game. Where I'm just like, if this club, if the other team was a little bit more ruthless, which again is just sort of the name of the game, but I just feel like defensively, because of the moving pieces, Miles Lewis-Skelly sucks. By the way,
he was good today.
He was fine today, and he can play a good game. I don't think he's like our starting left back, but also no Deck. No Rice today makes that midfield a hell of a lot worse in transition. I agree. Inter probably could have had more than one today, but
should have had two today. I think you guys deserve to win the game, and Inter should have had two. Anyway, I just was wondering if you guys noticed that.
Briefly on the striker situation, not to beat a dead Gyökeres to death, but I'm glad he got his goal today. But it's not often that you as a striker have a ball just sit up for you at the edge of the 18-yard box, and you have 4 yards around you to just kind of side foot one into the corner. I'm very happy he finished it, and he is too. You could see the elation in his eyes. But there were some plays today where Gabby Jesus just made something happen where I know for a fact Gyökeres simply wouldn't have. Doesn't have that in the blocker. I don't know if it's Jesus on the weekend, but I would not be surprised if it is.
And he fucked up that chance with the goal too, because he gave that ball to Saka.
He put it into Saka's ankle. Like he that was not
that in. So, like that, and that fell to him really kindly. Like he's so slow, man. Like so slow. There's just 0 second gear for him. He's just stuck in first, and that thing is struggling. He's a tough watch. I'm just gonna keep it.
Second gear going up a hill. All right, halftime weekly what if. Maybe we'll do a compliment corner since we're chugging through this episode. Weekly what if? What if hypothetically your name is Christopher Richards and you play on Crystal Palace FC in the year 2026 of our Lord, and you've now seen your center back partner get lured away by that good oil money of Manchester City. You've seen your coach say, I am getting the fuck off this ship come June. What are you doing right now? What's the conversations you're having with your agent? Are you telling them, let's use this leverage to, get a better deal, extend and expand, your options here with Crystal Palace? Are you trying to think about other options inside or outside of the Premier League? Tyler, what are you thinking here?
I like the first option that you had, and just sort of using the leverage in the moment with the club, because you know that Chris is most likely happy with where he is, living in London, playing for a Premier League side, starting every single game, like a club that clearly needs him and likes him. And you can make that move, but I think that if you're thinking about stability, playing football, and the whole thing, like I think that staying put, getting a bigger contract, getting a longer contract, and then maybe making a move after the World Cup or something like that or in January of next year or the following summer is probably more suited. But who knows what he's actually thinking right now.
I think that's a fair answer. Mikey?
Stay put. This gets him in the starting lineup regardless.
With Palace, you're saying?
Yeah.
We're not talking World Cup. Okay. Mitch, any thoughts?
I also think you stay put. I think barring a pretty drastic drop off in the end of the season, like if Palace gets relegated or we start talking about them in relegation talks, then maybe my answer changes. But right now he is a starting center back and a really important player on a mid-table Premier League team, and I think there's a lot worse situations you could be in, unless it's a move to like a top 2 club in a top 5 league. So we're talking Bayern, Juve, Milan, etc. I don't think there's many better scenarios for him. And then selfishly, as a U.S. men's national team fan, I want him playing against the best, and that's the Premier League. I can understand how he would be questioning things right now, though, with everybody leaving left and right. He's got talented players around him, and hopefully with players leaving, that provides vacancy to maybe Palace spend that Gahey money and bring some players in. I don't know. But if I'm him, I'm staying put, but maybe kind of playing my hand a little bit and saying, I need a raise or move. But if I'm him, I'm staying.
Yeah, I mean, he's got leverage right now. I agree with you guys. I think that staying there is probably the right move, especially right now for the next 6 months, and then after the World Cup, all bets are kind of off. And I would maybe say something about them being in a relegation battle, but they're higher than Tottenham in the table right now, so I'm going to just shut the fuck up. Now, compliment corner. Have we been shitting on anybody? Can we? Okay, let's compliment corner. Tyler, you go first. Manchester City.
They haven't been found guilty of any of their 115 charges yet.
We're just gonna have to change the name of this segment to backhanded compliment corner.
It works. Keep it as is.
Okay, Mitchell. Any compliments for Pep and his $1 billion megastars?
No. I have a compliment for the women's team. They have a midfielder, Yui Hasegawa, who had a clip go pretty viral this weekend of her like just rhythmically juggling a ball across the field. You know which one I'm talking about? Phenomenal player too. Like not just a clip. Fucking proper player. Really, really silky touch. Can find players well. And that is technically a compliment to Manchester City.
Fair point. You guys are incredible about finding your way around this actual topic. Mikey, any nice words for Pep, Manchester City, men or women?
Yeah, I think Rodri's really made an impact since his return.
For anybody not watching Champions League today, he was dog water, and then he gave up. First of all, he got a yellow card. Then he gave up a goal. Literally gave up the ball, gave it away, and then let the guy waltz right past him. And the Boda Glimt guy then put it upper 90.
Hell of a finish.
And then 2 seconds, it was a great finish. And then like in 2 minutes in between the second yellow card for just grabbing a kind of, it was one of those silly moves that, a 22-year-old does, not Rodri. Although I will say that second yellow, he does not get that in a Premier League game. Like the ref is just not giving it to him. No chance that happens. So shout out to that ref in the Champions League game because that was the right call. Well done, boys. Well done.
I want to quickly touch on that goal that you just talked about. I don't know what the goal scorer is going to do in his career or if he has done anything, but the fact that he can say he skipped past the Ballon d'Or winner and then stuck one top bins on one of the best goalkeepers in the world, that's you take that to the grave with you. It's an unbelievable singular play of football. And Rodri, look back.
Yeah, he gets the.
I was just saying he made an impact. You
gravestone.
guys are making this into a negative. It's
Fair
compliment
enough.
corner.
Listen, as Brian in the chat says, compliment corner is the best new segment since the implementation of GOAWs. So literally, the backhanded compliments they're flowing like wine around here right now. Nothing but respect to everybody for taking this seriously. All right, around the world. Speaking of seriously, AFCON. What the fuck was that? That final was insanity. I mean, the first 90 minutes, granted, was not so much insanity. It was a lot of not much. But stoppage time. I mean, we had a goal that was chalked off very questionably by VAR in like the 91st minute or so. Then we had a even more questionable penalty given also on VAR or after VAR. So the goal that was chalked off was Senegal's. So they would have gone up 1-0 on the host Morocco. Then they didn't get that. It was chalked off. Morocco then, about 2 minutes later, got a penalty given after VAR on a just as questionable call. The Senegal team, managers, and fans all went berserk. I normally would say, let's just play the game and everything. But, man, this was such a bad call. And it was so just ridiculous feeling. I actually don't really blame them. Obviously, the fans coming onto the field and fighting with security and stuff, that's a little overboard. But like, I totally understand where the coach was coming from, telling his players to leave the pitch. Eventually, they came back. Then Brahim Diaz, who had been perhaps the best player of the entire tournament, tried to Panenka the penalty. And it was such a bad penalty. A lot of people think that it was actually him saying, like actually trying to miss it. Mikey, perhaps you can opine on this. But then, so Senegal saved it. They go into extra time and Senegal score a great goal. And that was it. That was the end of the game, 1-0. Morocco almost scored a couple times. It was just a crazy, crazy last 15 to 20 minutes of full, the regular time, and then 30 minutes of extra time. Just an insane sequence of events. Mikey, as our resident AFCON watcher here, what any thoughts on the ridiculousness of this situation?
It's impossible not to have thoughts. The mark of a great final is when dozens of players have issued apologies following. That's when you know it was a great final. Everywhere you look on social, it's somebody apologizing. The towel incident is one for all time. Ball boys dragging professional athletes for towels.
Can you explain that? I obviously didn't see the game.
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a backstory here. I'll give you a little context here. It started as kind of like a fun little game in the Nigeria game. I don't know if it was happening before then, but in the Nigeria-Morocco semifinal, the ball boys and even stewards, I don't know if it was stewards, but just officials, they had like suits on. They would jump over the little, ad board and grab the towel of the keeper.
He was using a towel to keep his hands dry.
Keep his hands dry, like, as keepers do. I saw 2 or 3 times somebody, a Moroccan ball boy or just an official, jumped over and grabbed the towel and just stole it, took it. And so like it was kind of lighthearted seemingly in the moment. Like the last time the Nigerian keeper went and got another towel, and as he was running back to his goal, he was like giving double-barreled middle fingers to the fans. But it seemed kind of lighthearted. Now, in the Senegal game, in the final, it was not lighthearted at all. I don't know what I've never seen this before, but like the ball boys were taking the towels. The fans actually got Hakimi to throw the towel away one time. There was an actual player from the Moroccan team standing between the backup goalkeeper that was the Senegal's backup goalkeeper, who was just standing there with the towel, so the Moroccans couldn't steal it. Then you had a Moroccan player standing in between him and the field. So when when Mendy came over to try and use the towel, get it from the guy, he was like trying to block it. It was the weirdest thing. And then you had ball boys, as Mikey just said, kind of assaulting the backup keeper on the field while the game was going on, trying to take the towel out of his hand. It probably is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and it makes no sense. And the fact that the Moroccan officials let this go is just mind-boggling. Mikey, did I miss anything? Did I forget something?
No, pretty good. We had Champions League player Saibari standing face to face with backup keepers for towels. It was so petulant. That's the word of the podcast so far, but it's been it was crazy. Like legitimately, it's like a social experiment as to what happens in a lawless, godless community. It was insane. Nobody was in charge. Nobody.
I mean,
the referee was making calls that almost confirmed that he didn't want to depress the Moroccan home crowd. We've got players in his face saying God is watching you while he's making calls. It was beautiful stuff, and it just a great end to a great end. I'm saying that in quotation marks. It was absolutely horrible for the Moroccan Federation and their reputation. This is a country hosting a World Cup in 2030, by the way. I want everyone to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's almost like the U.S. is off the hot seat for all the shit that we're pulling. Like at least the soccer games, while the rest of the country might be in flames, the soccer, I think, is going to be whatever, under control. the fact that this Moroccan Federation and the people in charge of the stadiums just allowed this to happen, it's just mind-boggling that I can't even wrap my head around it. And then you had the politician afterwards, alleging that when the Senegalese team that went off the field for like a few moments, they did some black magic shit in the locker room, and that's how they like.
Not against the rules. Not against the rules. Sorry.
Right. I never saw that. I never saw that in the rule book. No
Nope.
black magic.
Wasn't there a 19-minute coup or like sit-in where like there just wasn't any action? Like which to me that should be like an automatic disqualification. Like that.
It does feel strange that the team is then just allowed back onto the field after voluntarily leaving. Because, if we do want to talk about the rule book, you can't just voluntarily leave the field. That's grounds for sending off. But if the entire team does it, you can't send off the entire team. I really don't know what the FIFA law book has to say about this, but I kind of wouldn't be upset if like the World Cup final ends up
felt
like
like
this.
a New Jersey State Cup sort of thing, where like you would play like State Cup anywhere, like where you're just playing in this ridiculous game where nobody's in charge and like the referee is terrible, but terrible for both teams, and one team gets shafted in the end, and then like there are people waiting for the referee, with weapons from their car out in the parking lot afterwards, but like they also walked off the field with 10 minutes left and the game just got called. Like it. But by the way, okay, so nobody's in charge, right? But like, let's say something like this happens. Let's say Senegal is hard done by a VAR call in the World Cup. Like, are we to expect something similar? Like, I don't really like who is the adult here? Who's the adult? Like, who's to stop any of this happening?
FIFA. That's who needs to be the adult.
We're relying on them to be in charge.
Yes, yeah, I know. It doesn't sound great. It's not. It doesn't offer a lot of reassurance. But I think that FIFA, especially after what they've seen from the Moroccan Federation or whoever was in charge of these stadiums in those games, they will learn from that and have either their own people there or sort of a mix or something, because it's clear if you allow, listen. So I was wrong. By Mayan actually corrected me. It was not VAR that chalked off the goal from Morocco. It was just the ref said it was a foul, which apparently you couldn't review. But the VAR decision to give them that goal or to give them the penalty was batshit crazy. I think it was so crazy that I think when the Senegal team left the field, you probably have to DQ them. Like the rules, if we're going by the rule book, I'm assuming you probably have to DQ them at that point. But they didn't, because they're like, everybody and their mother knew that it was such a bad call. They're like, I guess we got to kind of at least throw him this bone.
So the big controversy is the purposely missed penalty.
Yeah. So
do you think it was purposely missed?
I did want to bring that up. Brahim Diaz took this penalty with his right foot. Footmob claims he is left-footed. And I don't watch enough Madrid to know if that is true or not, but watch the video back. He took it with his right foot. Not a well-struck penalty. And you look at some of the reaction from the Senegalese players, and it does not seem like relief. It almost seems like business as usual just occurred. Now let's play.
That's why they agreed to come back on, sort of thing.
The talk was that they had an agreement that, like, okay, we'll miss this penalty if you come back and finish this game.
I don't think you can explicitly say I'm going to miss this penalty, but maybe you can say I'll take it with my weak foot. It would be like, that's match fixing if you're like, I'm going to miss this penalty for you. But if you kind of give them a head nod and say take this one with my weak foot, that's probably a gray area.
I thought that I saw somebody on Morocco give the motion of like he's gonna dink it.
No, that was Mane telling his keeper that's where he's going.
That was Mane? Okay, so then, all right, then I'm wrong. But so I don't hate the collective sort of like, if we both feel like this is a ridiculous call, then like I was playing men's league and I'm an honorable man when it comes to this type of stuff. Like our keeper came out and cleaned a fucking kid out the other night. Like and you could hear the thigh on thigh contact as this guy dribbled around our keeper. And the referee, who is out to goddamn lunch, just waves it off and goes, play on. And not like in like a timid way, like a I run the roost and like I'm so sure about what I saw kind of way. And the other team lost their goddamn minds. And I went up to the ref and he had already yelled at me for saying something to him earlier, saying one word to him earlier. And I said, listen, man, I was like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I was like, that's a penalty every single day of the week, including Sundays. He goes, I don't need to hear it from you. I was like, I'm not arguing on my behalf. I'm arguing on their behalf. And I'm just telling you, you need to go find a different hobby because you should not be getting paid to do this.
Now, there does seem to be a little bit of a track record here, Tyler. With,
every Tyler story is so great. The angles are like I was just being honest, and if you were there, you'd be like, oh, this poor guy. Here. You were killing this guy, probably. You were murdering this guy.
I might have said to him when it was all said and done, because this. By the way, this is coming off of the cash tournament in Louisville, where
that's exactly the one I was referring to.
So then the manager of this place in Cincy came onto the field and saw what was going on, because both teams just started kicking the living shit out of each other because it was not clear what was a foul and what wasn't. And I made a public address announcement to everybody on the field. I said, everybody needs to take a breath. Do not kill each other. He doesn't know what a foul is. Let's not take that out on each other. We have to go to work tomorrow. The ref did not like that and showed me a yellow card while I was on the bench for that. Then the manager saw everything that was happening, came out onto the field and like almost protected the ref from getting any more verbal beratement, but at the same time motioned to me and said, like, don't worry. I've got it. We'll talk to him. And I said, great. I was like, because that dude has not spent enough time around soccer to be reffing U7 girls, let alone to be doing this. And the referee said to me, no, I've been around the game. I promise you. And anybody who has to say it that way, that's like, Joffrey Baratheon saying I'm the king. No king who says that is actually the king. And I said to him, I was like, that's why you're getting a talking to from daddy right now. I was like, I'll see you next week.
I like that you started out this story with, I'm a fair guy, and I don't really like talking to
I'm an honorable.
But back to my original, I don't even know how we got down this far, down my berating referee rabbit hole. But I'm all on board for, like, crossing out or Xing out or canceling out a bad refereeing call if both teams agree on it. Like, they should, like, if they feel like they shouldn't win the game on that because it's just a horrendously bad call, then like, fair enough. Like,
yeah, ball don't lie.
I'm cool with that. That's some playground bullshit that I am here for.
I do not believe that Brahim Diaz was trying to miss that.
From everything I read, I don't think he was trying to miss it either. But if that was his intention, like, he's a good guy, and I'll have a beer with that guy anytime.
What if he was trying to make it, though? You still have a beer with him?
Yeah, because Panenkas either look great or they look awful. There's no in between.
Seriously.
With his weak foot?
It was. But listen, the Google says he's ambidextrous. I don't know if that works for feet, but he says that he's both feet.
Okay.
So I'm just
I'll
throwing it out
just
there.
Foot Mob says left foot, and for Tommy McCabe, Foot Mob says both.
Well,
so it's
Brahim Diaz is no Tommy McCabe, but still.
All right. Well, we're done with AFCON. Just an absolutely insane ending to a tournament. Just crazy. All right, stoppage time. Oh boy. Let's take our beating here, boys. So quickly, the overtrain is off the rails again. We went 8 for 9 because I had one game postponed in the 2 weeks before last week. It was 8 for 9, and then went 0 for 5. Nice little 0 for. Now, nice. Before anybody else laughs at me on this panel, I was not the only person to miss some Ivan Toney's best bets. In fact, everybody missed their picks. Mikey missed all 3. I think Tyler did a 3 or 4 leg parlay. Missed every single leg. It was
Don't put that on me, because I do parlays that have a comma in them all the time. Don't act like I should be involved in whatever you guys are. Like, those are just single bets.
Listen, it was an incredible performance all around by everybody involved.
I don't want to be included. I'm not included in this. I put it on the line every single Ivan Toney's bets, and rarely will any of you come close to a parlay of my juice level. So I'm not included in this.
Okay. We'll let the viewers decide on that one.
Strike my name for the record.
But Ivan Toney's best bet, we're back. Overtrain in the dunce cap. It says fade me, so now you know. Do not follow me. Although I do feel good about these picks, so you actually should follow me. So we're going overtrain Wednesday through Sunday, 1 a day. All these games are going over 2.5 unless otherwise stated. Wednesday, we are starting with the Champions League where Carrick and Frankfurt are playing. We're going over 3.5 in that game. Thursday, we're going to Saudi Arabia. Qadisiyah is hosting Al Ittihad. Friday, Maastricht and Jong Utrecht in Eerste Divisie. Saturday, we're going to the Swiss League. Sion is hosting Luzern. And Sunday, we're going to Ligue 1. Lille hosting Strasbourg. There we go. Let's go get rich. We'll go 5 for 5. It's time to get back in the green, back in the black. However you're supposed to say it. Mikey, what do you got for us?
Mason Greenwood, 2 shots on target against Liverpool, plus 185. Keep it nice
Easy
and simple.
peasy. Simple.
He's playing against an English side. Liverpool give up chances, especially on the road. He's going to play the 90. 2 shots on target, plus 185.
Like it. Mitch, what do you got?
3 games, all minus 1.5. PSV versus NAC Breda, or NAC Breda. You're going to get Lyon versus Metz, minus 1.5. And Barcelona versus Real Oviedo, minus 1.5. Don't know what that is.
We'll do the math. Eric will do the math, our official scorekeeper, who hopefully took last week off. Tyler Nathaniel, what do you got Ivan Toney's best bet wise?
I've got, by the way, I rode with you on that Carrick Frankfurt game. I love that overpick. I'm all in on that. By the way, Mikey, still reeling from my multi-unit bet on our boy Ramiro Enrique, so I'm never listening to you ever again. So my parlay is Frankfurt moneyline, Newcastle PSV draw, and then Liverpool moneyline against Marseille for a cool plus 2103. So get back to basics.
Back to basics. Plus 2103. No big deal. All right. Fair enough. Good shout, everybody. We can't do worse than last week, so hopefully we do a little better. GOAWs, everybody's favorite segment, especially Mikey. In fact, Mikey, why don't you lead us off? What do you got GOAWs wise?
Well, we talked extensively about AFCON, so I'd like to think all of that would be rewarded there. Last week was Shea Given. That was a real winner. I wasn't totally ready for this, but I'll give you one. It's I'm trying to find the name of the player. Number 6 on Carrick today. I'm trying to find his name on the back of his kit. Satanev or something.
The goal scorer?
Yeah, the goal scorer of the. They're down 4-0. He scores a not even true banger, like kind of it was a fine goal, scuffed goal, to bring them to 4-1, and he takes off his shirt and holds it like Messi did, facing his crowd. As the score's 4-1, the 0 turns to a 1 on the board behind him while he's holding his kit, looking at his fans. I understand it's a big moment for him, and listen, it's the whole like lost 5-4, I scored all 4 type of thing, where he now can say like, hey, I did my part against a great side. I deserve to be in there. So honestly, yeah, that's a go. I don't even have his name. So the first unnamed go up, because I don't think that, and the irony is that he was showing us his name in this whole thing. So the first guy's name I don't know today for Carrick.
Good shout though, as well.
One of the funnier videos. One of the funnier videos of the week.
Okay, Mitchell, who you got?
It's Lens in the French league, who lead the French league right now. PSG are in second, which is almost never happens, but Lens have won 10 straight games in all competitions. They are absolutely flying. They are not in a European competition, so they're not Conference League, Champions League, Europa League, anything like that. And they have a very real chance at going and making a Ligue 1 title push. We kind of saw this with like Girona in 2023, when they ended up finishing third to Barcelona and Real Madrid, but like they were at the top of that league and fighting with the big dogs because they were not in a European competition and were playing good football. And I just think Lens has a chance to make a push. So I will be watching and rooting for Lens for the rest of this season, hoping they can dethrone PSG, who is obviously going to make a deep run into the Champions League. And they have Marseille on the weekend, which will be a fun one.
Okay, good shout, Tyler. Go.
Brooklyn Beckham and the entire Beckham family.
Oh man, that has dominated my household, by the way.
Yeah, I come from a dysfunctional family myself, not to that level. We all do in some way, shape, or form, right? Families are crazy. Mitch, you know what I'm talking about, right? Sibling
Yeah, my
rivalry.
families are very close to the Beckhams. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't help but, good, bad, ugly. I don't know if it's a good goa, bad goa, but Brooklyn, his wife, Victoria, for apparently inappropriately dancing and hijacking the first dance that Brooklyn was supposed to have with his wife. And that didn't end up happening because Victoria, it sounds like, was twerking on her son is sort of like how Brooklyn made it sound in his Instagram story, and took everything public and just posted like 4 straight Instagram stories. Like Mikey, if I ever decide to go scorched earth on my former employers and things of that nature, like that's how I would want to do it. Just black screen, and I'm just going to like word vomit on. I'm not going to write a book. It's just going to be, something that is going to be erased from history after I do that. But people will obviously take screenshots. Yeah. So Brooklyn, his wife, and the entire Beckham family. I'm here.
Yeah, that was just sad. For it to be like publicly aired, and every family has drama, every family has issues. To do it publicly is crazy work. All right, my Goa is Fran Garcia of Real Madrid, who did an interview with just like a podcast and basically called out his teammate Kylian Mbappe for essentially not playing defense, which is just a crazy move. Very true, very accurate. Nothing he said was wrong, but the fact he said it, and it was Fran Garcia saying it, not like a coach, was bonkers to me and suggests he must want out of the club, because I don't think you can come back from that. But hey, shout out to Fran Garcia. That's a hell of a statement to make. All right, there we go, boys. Mikey, Mitch, Tyler, Nathaniel, everybody in the chat, you guys are the best. If you're not in the chat, get in it by getting the Sam's Army Patreon, $3.99 a month. Do it right now. Best money you'll ever spend. We'll be back bigger, better, maybe faster, stronger next week. See you guys then.